I think that when you're creating something, when you're artistically creating something, sometimes people don't know they want it until they see it.
Yeah.
So you've got to take that risk of creating it, hoping that people are going to like what you created, and then even more so willing to spend their hard-earned money on it. So I think a lot of it early on was saying, because the truth is, 500,000 plus customers, whatever, like, I think only a small fraction of them, if I'm being honest, woke up in the morning and said, I want to whiten my teeth. Let me go find it.
Okay, so today we're not only with Josh Snow, but we're also in his warehouse. We're at Snow Teeth Whitening. What's it? I mean, it's Snow, but is it Snow Teeth
Snow,
Whitening?
yeah, we started as Snow Teeth Whitening, and then over the last year, we just become Snow. So we're just, we changed our username on Instagram to just the word Snow. I'm known as Josh Snow, and really now we're an oral care brand. Started as teeth whitening, that's what made us famous. And now we've got, toothpaste and mouthwash and, eventually a lot of other products that you would imagine in the oral care. So Snow is what we go by now.
Yeah. See, and it's funny because not only are you branching out in the company Snow, but you're so much more than the company Snow itself too.
Right.
Because I was reading up, you have other companies that you started, but you're also what's considered to be like an expert marketer in that side, right?
Sure.
And then you're an entrepreneur that you have other companies, but then the one that I think we're going to dive the most into is probably Snow.
Yeah, that's the one that I decided to put out, front and center, just because it just made sense in a million ways. So like, you can't really follow the founder of like Crest and Colgate, and it's a huge advantage to kind of chronicle. Really, it's like a chronicles, the chronicles of building a business and seeing behind the scenes. And I was like, which business makes the most sense to show? And because it's a physical products business, you can see the products that we sell.
Yeah.
And we are direct to consumer, so we are selling to the people we're in front of. It's not a business to business.
Yeah.
And so it just made the most sense to choose Snow to really put out there, especially with all the celebrities and things like that. And so Snow is the one that everybody knows the most and knows me by, and I've decided to go by Josh Snow, really as a testament, not that anyone buys because I'm involved, my face isn't on any of the products, but to put myself out there to be like, look, I'm the CEO, founder, I've got an amazing team, we've got amazing products and customers, but if you have a problem with your order, you can find me, I'm publicly available, I'm not hidden behind some screen. We do all of our business here, we've got our joint warehouse over here, and we fulfill millions and millions of dollars of orders, from essentially one location, and we've done so since day one. We've done all of our own fulfillment, customer support, everything from day one we've done ourselves. And I wanted to do that as being born and raised in Phoenix. I think that was important to me.
Yeah.
And then having a brand like Snow that can reach hundreds of millions of people, with so much people in our addressable market. Anyone with teeth could be a customer of ours, or if you don't have teeth, we've got all kinds of products coming out. So I thought it made the most sense strategically to use Snow as a vehicle to show people what it's like to build a brand, the good, the bad, the ugly, and also from my standpoint, I've been building companies for 12 years now, and Snow is one of those that I've decided that I'm not going to take a big salary from. I don't take any money out of the business. I pay myself $60,000 a year. That's all I get paid. Nothing above and beyond that. So I could really say, I'm doing this because I love what I do. I'm doing it for the passion of building a business. and not just to, make some money so I can, or sell a crappy product just to make money.
Yeah.
I really want to put my name on it because the people I looked up to and look up to the most, like Steve Jobs and John Paul DeJoria from Patron and Richard Branson, they put their face and their name, ahead of their business. And you probably don't fly Virgin Airlines because Richard Branson started it. He doesn't even own it anymore, but you do it because of the service, because of the brand, because of what you can expect. It's not because Richard, you don't choose the airline because Richard owns it. And so we want our products and our brand to speak for themselves. And I wanted to build a phenomenal team, but I also wanted to be confident enough to put my name in front of it, in front of the entrepreneurial community to say, hey guys, if you want to see what I'm doing, maybe you're doing something similar, you want to do something similar, or you just like watching it. It's kind of like the esports of business, like get to see someone else do something, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. What do you think, speaking on that, right? Like, what do you think the good, the bad, and the fun have been? Because I know people usually talk about the good and the bad, but it seems like you have a lot of fun with this.
I do. Yeah. I mean, so the good is building a team, I think has been the most exciting part of this business. Building a team has been great, and it's good, and it's fun when you work with people that you like and you trust. It makes coming to the office that much more exciting. Everybody acts like an owner in the business, so we're all working with each other. We're all on the same team. I would say the bad, there's always bad that comes with the good, and it's, whether it's people trying to knock off our brand or use some of our assets when they're not supposed to, or maybe they're reselling our product when they shouldn't be, or there's just a bunch of stuff that happens. But the fun along the way is I spend about half of the month on an airplane now. Essentially, I'm traveling a lot, and so I could look at it a couple ways. I could be like, gosh, I'm traveling all over the place. I don't get to sleep. I don't get a regular schedule. The fun part is that, we're meeting with our celebrity partners. We're, meeting with retailers. We're meeting with the people with customers. We're meeting with the customers directly. And I think there's a lot of fun that comes into being a part of a fast-growing brand and going through the challenges. Sometimes the challenges can be fun, although they're painful sometimes. It means that we're growing. It's uncomfortable. And I think it's fun to grow as a team and to take on challenges as a team, to work together, to create products from scratch. Everything we sell, we've created. And I think that that's something that I also wanted to make very clear from the start was like, I want to only sell products that we have created. We never private labeled, white labeled, drop shipped, did any of that. From day zero, it has been literally almost putting together stuff by hand to send to our customers, and we've shipped every product ourselves because we want to sell things we could sell to our mom. We want to sell things we would use ourselves, and I think that it attracts a certain type of team member. So the good, the bad, the fun, it's all part of the mix, and it's important to realize that you might have a bad week, you might have a great week, you might have a fun week, you might have a mix of all three in one, but that I think is the exciting part of the sport of business.
Yeah. What I find the most exciting about not only the brand but also about you, right? You turned something like teeth whitening, and you made it fun and attractive. I mean, you look at the bags. I was telling the people here that it's velvet.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like this is teeth whitening, and even the pictures that I see, it's glowing, and you turn something that is so normal, and you made it into something so attractive. And if there was more people like you doing that in every single sector, can you imagine how like much more awesome like the world would be? But you have these boring products that stay the same.
Right.
And I mean, I really do tip my hat off for you, because I think this is such a neat product, and I just can't even like fathom and understand like how you could do it. How did this start? Like where did the idea come from? How did it come to you?
Yeah, so I was looking for, I had built and sold a few companies before this, and I was looking for a snow, and I was looking for snow, in other words, and snow kind of found me in many ways, in the sense that I was looking for an industry, but at the same time I was going through jaw surgery and prepping for all that. and I just had really bad jaw pain. And so I knew that I wanted to undergo jaw surgery because before I had jaw surgery, I would speak for like an hour. Like I would do a podcast or anything like this, and I would, or speak on stage, whatever. After an hour in the morning, the rest of the day, I could barely open my mouth. My jaw was in pain. Even eating food sometimes was uncomfortable. And so, and I was always kind of self-conscious about my smile, and like growing up, starting as a young entrepreneur, and I had spent lots of money whitening my teeth and like all this stuff. But I was buying a lot of different products while I was going through the oral surgery process. And even before then, toothpaste and creams and all this stuff for pain and whatever it might be. And I just looked at all the products. I remember walking down the oral care aisle, and still today, and like thinking to myself, this doesn't look like the beauty industry. This doesn't look like the perfume or cologne industry. This doesn't look like the fashion industry. You go to Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, and things are presented so well. And it's like, it's something you do twice a day. You brush your teeth twice a day. Everybody's brushing their teeth. Everyone's using a toothbrush. Millions of people are whitening their teeth. Why does it have to be, you either have to spend a lot of money, to get the result you're looking for or to get that experience, or you spend a little bit of money, you don't really get the experience that you would hope for. And so I was like, there's got to be a middle ground. Like there's got to be something where you get the results you're looking for, but it should feel good. And I started to see the bed in a box industry. I started to see a lot of other industries, and it's still happening, feminine care, that are the beautification of direct to consumer. I think that consumers now have a choice with Instagram that they want to know who they're buying from. I want to know who I'm buying from. I want to know, what's the founder's story? Where did this come from? So people have really become interested in the personification of brands that they're buying, because people are spending their hard-earned money on products and they want to be a part of something. And you see that mostly happening in the beauty space, skincare, hair care space. And here you got oral care, a very large industry that's owned really by 3 companies, and they haven't really been challenged to create beautiful products, to think about the ingredients, like what is in your toothpaste? What does that word actually mean? And I think it started with the food we're putting in our body, and then it moved now to what we put on our body. So vegan beauty, even CBD beauty, natural products that we're using. That was a really small market before. Now people are like, wait a second, the skin's the biggest organ on my body, and I'm putting all these chemicals on my body, but yet I'm eating whole foods. Like it just doesn't make sense. So I was like, okay, I think that the market's going to catch up to this eventually. I see a huge opportunity here. I'm going to put, my entire life savings at stake so that I could maybe build something that maybe other people think the same way I think. And that's kind of the big risk you take, is like, do other people think like this? I don't know. Because we've really, in many ways, pioneered, Instagram oral care and like, beautiful oral care. And taking that risk initially was a little bit scary, but now we've seen that, hundreds of thousands of our customers, choose Snow, and they stick with Snow, and they're like, thank you for giving us an option to spend a little bit more on something that I'm actually going to use or that I feel good about. And the big testament is obviously people buying it as gifts, people coming back and buying more, and then people sharing, tens of thousands of photos on Instagram of a teeth whitening system, of lip balm, of, floss. We get thousands of pictures that people post. We pay them nothing for it, and they post about our products because, it's changed the way that people think about oral care. And I think that is a testament to that risk I took early on. And then my team I have a phenomenal team that has, kind of jumped on to say, hey, we think the same way. We want to help you on this mission. And without my team, I'd be nothing. As one man, I can only do so much. My team allows me to do what I do best, which is communicating that vision, helping to create new products, and growing that. And it's funny, we have, like I mentioned, we ship all of our products here. So we've got the UPS guy here, and we see USPS, FedEx, UPS. So all day long, we've got product shipping out of here. But it's nice for our designer to be able to walk 5 feet, be in the warehouse, see the actual product that we're selling, and seeing it actually leave. It brings us connection versus outsourcing everything. and then you're just sitting there and you just see numbers on a screen and you're like, order number 4450. It's like, no, this is, Pamela Hawkins in South Carolina who's going to receive this package that we just put together 5 feet away from, your computer.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big piece of what we do.
So when you started it, did you see, was it a big push, or did you have a large pull? Like, were you having to convince a lot of people, or was it one of those products that it was so necessary that people were like, yes, and they were just like, this is incredible?
I think, the hard part about it was that it was mostly push in the beginning. I think that's what happens when you disrupt an industry, when you disrupt a category, especially if you're earlier on. Now we've created the demand. We've created that demand. But people didn't know, like if you look at some of the fashion brands, you look at some of the things going on, people didn't know that they wanted Yeezys. Like people didn't know that they wanted to spend, Supreme did that Oreo, that red Oreo. Like people didn't know that they wanted a $1,000 Oreo, like which is crazy. But, or Off-White and Virgil Abloh. Like I think that when you're creating something, when you're artistically creating something, sometimes people don't know they want it until they see it. So you've got to take that risk of creating it, hoping that people are going to like what you created, and then even more so willing to spend their hard-earned money on it. So I think a lot of it early on was push, was, saying, because the truth is, 500,000 plus customers or whatever, like I think only a small fraction of them, if I'm being honest, woke up in the morning and said, I want to whiten my teeth. Let me go find who's out there. Oh, wow, snow. Okay, I'll buy snow. That's a very small percentage. I think people said they woke up, they opened their Instagram feed, they saw their sister share the product, and they said, what is that? They click on our Instagram, they follow us maybe, and then they start seeing all the imagery being posted, and then there's just like fear of missing out inside of them that's like, wow, everybody's doing this, celebrities are doing this, my cousin's doing this, I want this.
We were just talking about that. That's one of I was like, I know that as soon as I come and see him, I'm gonna end up buying one. Because I've been seeing it for so long, and I'm like, I almost feel that at this point, if we're gonna put out a thing, I have to know what this is all about, and it is a little bit of FOMO, because I'm like, well, what happens if he moves on to the next one? And I never even tried the one that he had before,
Right.
But it's so true and so interesting that I like the way that you think. It makes so much sense that we do put so much attention to beauty products and towards like fashion and all these things. And teeth is such a big part of what beauty is.
Right.
And you have Colgate with the red box that hasn't changed, and their innovation is literally putting it in a tube so that way you don't have it in an old-fashioned tube. You have something that closes now, It's like, oh, cool, thanks, But I don't think there's anything that even compares to this. I mean, there might be knockoffs now, the people but I mean, before that, they're.
I mean, if you look at what Apple did with the iPhone, they took out the keyboard, and everyone. I remember I bought the very first iPhone in 2007. I saved up all my money to buy it. I was like, and I think I sold like a bunch of stuff that I had because I knew I wanted to have that phone so badly, because I didn't know I wanted the iPhone until I saw Steve Jobs presented on stage. I didn't know what an iPhone was. Nobody did. But after seeing that 20-something minute presentation he did, you're like, I don't know what it is, but I need it. And I was like, one day I want to have a product like that, or I want to be able to speak like that about what I'm doing. And there was a big risk in the very beginning, because I remember when I bought it, everyone's like, you're stupid for buying the iPhone. Like, where's the keyboard? Like, how are you going to type stuff? How are you going to do it? And, you get those early adopters. I was an early adopter of the iPhone. And you get those early believers, early adopters. So we had some of those that saw the product and said, this is different. And everything we've done, we've innovated. So like this product here, which is our new version of the system, which we're already making a version 3 of to make it even better. But this one here, we've got 5 patents pending, worldwide. The technology on this device is insane. It wirelessly charges like your iPhone. It has red light therapy, blue light therapy. You can control it from an app.
Is that this one right here?
This is in this box.
Oh, really? So
this is
even newer.
This is even newer. So this is like version 1.
This is the current one.
This is the current one. This is the one that plugs into your iPhone. We created the ability to plug it into your iPhone. So because early on, I didn't know how successful it might be. So I didn't know in the early days to take the risk to spend $20,000 on patents and all that stuff. So the first version of it was like, I don't know, like I see a lot of people walking around with their phone while they're whitening their teeth, or they're laying down or on the sofa, or they're working out, whatever. I'm like, well, instead of batteries and having to replace batteries every month, why don't we do something that is powered by the phone, because they always have their phone. And so we created that ability. And early on, we've been playing catch up with our patents and our trademarks, and we shut down someone trying to counterfeit or look like us every other week. But we're on iteration probably 20 of our formula. So nobody has our formula on Earth.
Yeah.
No one can have our formula on Earth. And it's very, very specific, the amounts of each ingredient we include in the formula. And it's kind of like you try to make Chick-fil-A sauce or like Raising Cane's sauce. Like it's never the same. You try to make, I remember I tried to make Dutch Bros coffee at home. It wasn't the same. I tried to make Starbucks coffee. It wasn't the same. There's a reason why. And you know, you can go and get Dunkin' Donuts coffee, but if you like Starbucks coffee, it's not going to taste the same.
Yeah.
And for us, you know, you pay for what you get. And when someone's putting it in their mouth, they're plugging it into their phone, we make sure that it's not destroying your $1,000 iPhone. We make sure that it's not causing, you know, hopefully causing any issues with your smile. It's not, you know, if you're swallowing it, we're making sure that we're using the best ingredients. We use a refrigerated warehousing facility so that we can store our serum before it's ready to be shipped out. There's a whole process that goes into it that's backed by science that we don't talk a lot about, because we don't want our customers to worry about that. We want them to know, if Snow's selling it, it's the best on the market. I don't have to question it. If I have a problem, I can call them. Good to go. We're one of the few companies you can call, pick up the phone and call.
Yeah.
And like, you know, the thing with these products is there's nothing remotely close to this like ever. I mean, you've got, you know, it's self-sanitized. It kills 99% of bacteria using ultraviolet therapy when it's charging. So it closes, kills the bacteria. Wireless charging, like your iPhone, you can shower with it.
I'm impressed with it. Like you're trying to talk me into this one. I'm already impressed. I didn't see, you're talking about stuff that you don't know you want. I didn't know I wanted to charge my iPhone, but I absolutely do want it to charge my iPhone. That already won me over.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like we came out with this, and then the first version was battery powered, and we quickly moved on to this version, you know, and spent a lot of money to create the molds and all this stuff. And this is the one that people are creating dangerous knockoffs of right now, which are killing people's phone, damaging their phones, damaging their smile. It's your smile. It's like getting a free tattoo on the corner of the road. You don't want to save money on your heart surgeon. You know, you don't want to pick the cheapest tattoo place. You want to be very careful. And at $150 retail price, it comes out to about $1.50 every time you use it. Use it for 21 days. It costs $30, about the cost of a box of strips. You're going to get, you know, our proprietary formula. You get the whole system, up to 6 months of treatments, up to 75 treatments in here. So it's really actually cheaper than pretty much everything on the market. It's just that one-time investment cost is a little bit higher, but you're getting what you pay for. You're getting the best of best, and you're also getting a company that is not a fly-by-night company that's backing it. We're here for you. So you really get what you pay for, and that's why, you know, Vitamix can charge $500 for a blender, because it truly is the best. Dyson can charge $500 for a hair blow dryer, because it truly is the best. If you're looking to save money on something, there are a lot of opportunities. But if you're looking for the best, I believe there's always a market for quality, and not a race to the bottom. So that's version 1 right there. We've sold hundreds of thousands of that.
I know you're not trying to get into like retail or anything, but this does look like a product that if you went to Best Buy, this would be the high-end version of whatever you're trying to get, you know? It just looks that way. More of a question maybe for me and maybe even people that are thinking, right? But so how does this work? Because it's 75 treatments, 6 months supply. Is it based on the actual mouthpiece that eventually or is there a specific treatment or gel that you put on it?
It's a gel. So inside of here are teeth whitening wands. So you get 3 of the regular strength, 1 of the extra strength. And so these wands each have, you know, up to 30 treatments in each one. Certainly 21 treatments. So you can do, you know, if you have ultra sensitive teeth, although this was designed for sensitive teeth, if you have super sensitive teeth, you might not start with the extra strength. You might start with the regular one, and you click it, you know, a few times, you know, a lot of times in the first time you use it. But the serum comes out on a brush, and you paint it on your teeth like you're painting a fence. Just one little thin layer. You pop in the accelerating LED mouthpiece. So it's LED, very safe, medical grade silicone. You plug it into your iPhone, and the light turns on. You've got 24 LEDs on here. The serum actually contains what's called a photocatalyst. So photocatalyst, what it means is that it reacts to the light. So what happens is during those first 5 minutes, the serum is activated. It's essentially, the way I always explain it is, your teeth have blinds. It opens up the blinds, comes in, actually whitens the stains. It's not just like charcoal that scrubs against your teeth and or removes your enamel and then your teeth look whiter. This is actually whitening your teeth, and it's like an OxyClean for carpet, but for your teeth. It tastes like mint. It's a nice mint flavor. It's pleasant. We'll be coming out with more flavors eventually, and this is actually our retail packaging. Although we ship it to customers, this is going. We launched with Target in December, Target.com. We're launching with some of the largest retailers later this year that you'll actually be able to go and pick up this system. You'll be able to pick up refills.
Nice.
We sell this system at dental offices, orthodontics offices, dermatologist offices, tanning salons, medical spas, barbershops, you name it, that sell these products. And it really sells itself because we have millions and millions of shoppers every month or every year that shop with us on our website. They know the product, they've seen it, and when they see it at their dermatologist office, they're like, hey, I'm here getting whatever I'm getting. Let me grab a snow kit on my way out. Or you're getting your hair done, and you're like, oh, can you whiten my teeth while you're doing my hair? Can I take this home? How much does it cost? So we are expanding into retail in other areas.
That one kills all the stuff. That's true.
This one you can reuse. The mouthpiece, actually, for professionals, you take off the mouthpiece, you throw it away, you pop on a new one. So it's like
awesome.
it's like a razor blade. You pop off the razor blade, pop on a new one. $25 or whatever while you're getting your hair cut.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. That's super, super cool. So, I mean, we're talking about this business, but you really are an expert marketer, brand creator, you know? What do you think most people, the biggest mistakes they do when they're doing marketing or branding, what do you think that their biggest mistake is?
I would say, particularly among younger people, it's very short-term thinking, and I was guilty of it too. Growing up, it's like, how can I make $1 million as fast as I can, or how can I sell more products, and how can I get my Facebook ads to make more money, and it's very short-term thinking, and short-term thinking is dangerous over time, because if you're not acting ethically, if you're not taking care of your customers, if you're not taking care of the people you do business with, over time you can't shed your personal brand. So you might be able to switch your companies and stuff like that, but people want to work with people they like and trust. And I think thinking short term, like drop shipping is great to get started online, but our products get to the customer within 2 days. So like if you got a product taking 3 weeks, you're selling a blanket or something, it takes 3 weeks to get to the customer. Jeff Bezos at Amazon is trying to get stuff within 1 hour to customers. So, if you're thinking short term for too long, you will not have a long-term strategy, and you will have to keep starting new things, keep trying new things. And I think the hardest thing that young entrepreneurs have, and entrepreneurs in general, shiny object syndrome. Oh, this, oh, that, oh, this, oh, that. You see what's on top of the iceberg. You see snow, the tip of the iceberg, and you're like, oh, I got to start a teeth whitening company. Where in reality, underneath the iceberg is 90% of the strategy. And people realize that when they try to get into our space, there's a reason why there are only a few of us, at our scale. It's very, very difficult. And this is not my first business. My cars, my lifestyle is not funded by this business. So like this is a 10-year overnight success story that's barely getting started. So, focus is very, very important. So focus on one thing for 25 years. Everyone gets like scared when I say that, because it's like, you got to pick one thing. It could be a barbershop. It could be a donut shop. It could be a tax service company. It could be an auto repair shop. One thing, and ideally a growing market or in a big market, that you can do for 25 plus years, 7 days a week. If you can hit those three, you're probably going to be successful, as long as you're not, like I said, in a dying market, or you have a product that sucks. You got to have a good product, you have a good team, things like that are very important. But even if it's just you've got to over deliver. So what happens is, a lot of times people will think short term and say, I'm just going to drop ship some stuff that I don't even use, or that, I meet a lot of people that sell things that they don't even use themselves. And it's like, how can you sell something that you don't feel confident about? So I would say short term thinking is important. Trying to build a business that you want to fund your lifestyle with. That's okay if you have a lifestyle business, but if you want to build a big business, be prepared to really make no money for 25 years. Like if you can say, I'm going to make no money for 25 years, but I'm going to build something I'm passionate about. I can tell everyone at my family dinner about what I do, and I can be excited about it. And I want to build a team. The irony of capitalism is you got to give everything away for a long period of time to maybe one day
Yeah.
have something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, you can make $1 million a year, doing whatever you want to do. Or, but if you want to build a business that is very large, or if you're seeking wealth in your business, wealth creation, you have to build something that someone would want to buy one day, a business that they'd want to buy, a business you could take public, where the public can invest in your business. If you're not thinking that long term, and I wish I could tell myself, but I don't think I would have listened at 16 years old, 18 years old, 22 years old, to say, Josh, focus on one thing for 30 years. Don't change.
Yeah.
You might have a bad year, you might have a good year, you might have a bad month, you might have a good month. Focus on your health, because a lot of people, I think, will forego their health in hopes that once I'm successful, I'll take care of my health.
Yeah, that was me. That was me up until recently. Just
really?
So you know. Yeah, and that was a big mistake that I made. Is you do sacrifice it. You go, oh well, you know what? I don't have time for the gym right now, but things are coming up, and it's gonna get better. And once it does, then I'll have time for the gym. And what's really funny is that I felt worse during the time, which actually probably affected my work production.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just contradictory, but I'm sorry I cut you off. But
No,
yeah,
you're good. Now, I was just saying, like, you gotta take care of yourself, because this is a marathon of sprints, and it's not just a sprint to see how fast can I make $1 million, how fast can I, lease a Lambo so I look rich and I look successful. It's like, and it's hard, like, telling myself that as if I'm putting myself in being a teenager or putting myself being in, my early 20s, and it's like, would I have listened to myself? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because everyone out there was saying focus. Bill Gates and Warren Buffett both went backstage. They asked them one word to give. They both came out. They were by themselves. They came out and both said focus. And focus is very hard. And you look at, the majority of wealth is built from 40 to 80 years old. But a lot of times, Warren Buffett didn't change his business model. He's been doing the same thing for 50, 60 years. Elon Musk has gone across different industries, but he's chosen energy, the biggest industry ever. He wants to literally be the most powerful man in the world. It's like that's going to take a long time and a lot of money and a lot of work. And even though he's a billionaire, there are pictures of him 2 years ago sleeping under a computer, still working because something messed up. Like, you have to be willing to do that. If wealth is your goal, then wealth is all you can think about. For me, I've decided that impact and brand creation and brand building is a little more exciting for me. Being a billionaire is not a goal of mine. Once you make a certain amount of money, I've found for my personal needs that, once I have, a good pair of shoes, a good place to live, and a car to get from A to B, I like cars, so sometimes my cars are faster, but going from A to B 10 seconds faster is not going to change your life. I think waking up and having a purpose and being around a team that shares a similar purpose, and you feel like you're contributing to society. I do a ton of nonprofit work. I do a ton of community work outside of nonprofit, and I do a lot of stuff like this to be as transparent as I can of how we're building this business so that other people can learn from it. I think when you start to measure your success by how you're impacting others in a positive way, you realize that your job will never be done, versus saying, I want to have $1 million in the bank. Okay, you get there, and then you say, what next? I want to have 10 million. And now the big number is 100 million. I want to hit 100 million in revenue. It's like, why? What is that going to do for you? How is that going to impact people? And the funny thing is, when you focus on impact and you focus on, I want to give away $100 million by the time I die, that means you got to make over $100 million, which means everything else kind of lines up there versus just saying, I'm going to slave drive my employees. I'm going to cut costs. I'm going to, sell a product. I don't care if it works or not. Sell. That is not how you build a brand. People don't want to work with people like that. I want to be able to leave a legacy in the entrepreneurial space of, that guy, built something that was cool and built something that we saw it and that was awesome. And what is he up to next? And because my future might be in investing, my future might be in advising, maybe writing books. I don't know, but I want to be able to speak from experience of what I'm doing. And so every challenge I have is I'm like, that's going to be a chapter in the book. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that lawsuit, man, I'm excited for that lawsuit because I'm going to learn a lot from it. Worst that's going to happen is I'm going to learn from the experience. And best case scenario, it's going to be a great chapter of a book one day that even if my kids are the only one to read my book, they'll be able to see the challenge and really what mastery is all about, which is being uncomfortable, building a team around you, going to the depth of your work so that you can reach mastery. Mastery is not in doing 100 things at once just because you want to make money.
Yeah.
That's not mastery. That's a selfish need. The thing is, you cannot attract good people to work with you if you're on a selfish mission.
Yeah.
Good people will sniff that out from a mile away.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of, what I took from what you said is, you have to stick to one thing, but don't be afraid to be experimental at the same time, like with whatever you're doing.
Right.
Because like even with you, right, you're saying like Warren Buffett stuck to one thing, but he's always going into different companies. If he had stuck to the one company or the one vertical kind of that he's used to, like he would have never grown into like these other things. I did want to touch up on this just because you said it. Like we've been talking about your cars, and you've had some really, really nice cars. What's the next one? What's the one that you actually really, really want, but you're just kind of holding off on?
It's what's crazy is that like I've always, because I grew up with no money. I grew up the way I grew up taking the city bus. Like, so for me, like the most exciting time was when I sold one of my websites when I was 15 for like I made like $4,000 on it, and I bought my first Toyota Camry with my own cash. And that was like the biggest like excitement of my life. Sure, I've got a Ferrari, I've got a McLaren, like all that stuff. That's fun. It's fun to go fast, and I love it. But when you get options, you end up not taking many of them. Like it's like
the paradox.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like
choice. Yeah.
I want options in my life, and then all of a sudden, when you can, when you can eat at any restaurant, when you can fly anywhere.
Yeah.
You have so many options that you're like, I don't know, and that's not even like bragging at all. It's really like it's a paradox.
No, and people can't see this, but there's this weird energy that you have, and then I shouldn't say weird, but it's different than I usually get from someone who's trying to brag.
Right.
You're just very open.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. It's like, and I don't know if people can see that or not, but you're just very open. Yeah. And that's why I asked you about the car, because I was like, I don't think there's much that he doesn't have, but I'm sure there must be something that he's excited for,
What's crazy is that the more expensive and custom the car is, just like with watches, like I hardly even wear a watch nowadays. I have nice things. Like I'm little by little like getting rid of all my stuff, not all my stuff, but like I'm little by little getting rid of the excess stuff.
Yeah.
So I can live a little bit more simple of a life. But it's crazy because when you're on the way up, especially when you come from nothing, you're trying to prove a point, and like you're trying to prove to other people. And now I'm in the position of I'm trying to improve to myself. And so when you're on the way up, I remember it was like, I had to go get those Gucci shoes because I wanted, or those red bottoms, and I had them, if I was wearing them right now, I'd be like this, showing the camera on my bottom of my foot, because I want everyone to know it's called signaling. I want to signal that I am someone, that you should listen to me. And initially those cars, were like a signal of like, hey, when I pull up, like, I want people to notice me. And I'm not that kid from the ghetto anymore, or the hood, like I can do this. Then after a while you realize they're not looking at you, they're looking at the car. And in reality, the more expensive, the more expensive the watch or the car, the more work it is. Like for me, a $30 Timex that always works, I can look at it. A Rolex, you got to wind it, you got to make sure it's good. Oh, this broke, I got to take it to the shop. Oh, the car, it's custom, it's not starting because the battery's dripping. So it's so much work. And oh my God, $8,000 for brakes. Oh my gosh, what could have I done with that? It just really, what happens is that you build a prison for yourself, and you build this facade of like, now I've got this money, so I got to show this car, I've got to show this watch. I want to make sure make sure you get my watch in the photo, so that people know I'm a guy that's got money. In reality, it's like the signaling, and you see it in high-end fashion right now. You see the Gucci shoes now, they're all dirty when you buy them. So they're selling Balenciaga, all these brands, they're selling dirty shoes. There's a brand called Golden Goose, $450 for shoes. They look like Adidas or whatever, and they're all marked up and dirty, and they're brand new like that. And what happened is that the signaling changed from I've got the newest Fendi, Prada, blah, 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 to now I've got these dirty shoes I paid $1,000 for. It's like, it's flipping, and it's hard to keep track of. But do I like nice things? Sure. I like a nice steak. I like things like that. Of course, everybody does. But I realized that what do I get out of that? The kids are looking at the car. They're not looking at me. I'm not famous. I don't want to be famous. Like, what could have I done with that money instead?
Mm-hmm.
So for now, when I think about cars, and this is not all like a woo-saw thing. I have a Ferrari. Like, I
Yeah.
can't sit here and be like, bad, don't want cars.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is when especially a boy is in his teenage years or younger years, you put that Lamborghini poster on the wall and you say, I want to have a car like that. I want everyone to look at me when I get out of the car. And then all of a sudden you start to think, how can I make enough money to have a car like that? Okay, I got to be a doctor, a lawyer, an entrepreneur, boom, boom, boom. So it drives that initial materialism, drives that entrepreneurial spirit to get to a point. But the funny thing is, the paradox is once you're there and you have the optionality, you realize, like if you look at Kanye West now, for example, and you look at Kim and Kanye's home, there's nothing in it. Like it's the most simple, modern, minimalistic thing. You look at Kendall Jenner, she wants to drive a classic 1964 car because all her family has Lambos and Rolls Royces. So it depends on who you are, what you're looking for, but ask yourself, why are you buying that watch? Why are you buying that thing? And I'm guilty of it. I remember I was like, I want the biggest watch. I remember I bought a U-boat. It was like $2,000, big old like 55-inch watch. And I was like, I'm gonna strap that on. I'm gonna go into the meeting and I'm gonna say, that's right, you're listening to me. And like I felt good in the moment, but then I was like, wait a second. If I'm relatable and I'm just myself and I actually over deliver and do a good job, that's why people are gonna want to work with me, because I'm real. And once I realized, I started making way more money by being myself versus being this who I thought was a successful person, a rich person, and actually like talk to the valet, hey, how's it going? What's up, guys? Where I live, I've got valet there, and I know everybody's name. I know when their birthdays are. I'm not like, here are the keys, or like, don't touch my car. I couldn't tell you about my cars. I see something I like, it looks pretty, and I want to have it for a while. If I can afford it, I'm going to get it. I can't tell you how much horsepower. I can't tell you the torque. I don't know anything about it. All I know is it's expensive. I have fun with it for a while, and then I want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great answer. That's a really great answer. I mean, we've pretty much come to the end of the episode. Is there a final thought or something that you'd like to say?
I always think about, I try to fast forward in my head of like, what am I doing right now that I'm going to tell myself in the future that I should have done differently? And you can only tell the future so much, but I would say celebrate the little wins. Don't compare yourself, somebody else's day 1,000 to your day 1.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Be willing and be humble enough to do the work, roll up your sleeves. I printed, as a millionaire, keep in mind, I printed every single label for the first thousands of orders. I called every customer that would answer my call myself on my cell phone. I walked to the post office, into the post office, and delivered the packages every single day. I wrote the first Facebook ads. I made the first website. I had enough money, I could have hired an entire team to do that.
Yeah.
And maybe, not saying that that's wrong, like sometimes you have to hire a team to do things. You don't have to know all those things. But just the principle of being willing to roll up your sleeves.
Yeah.
Being willing to say, I don't just want to be an entrepreneur, I want to be a leader.
Yeah.
What does being a leader be like? And then remembering that the game doesn't get easier as you grow, it gets harder, but you can become better. So focusing on yourself, how can you, prioritize your health, your relationships? Is there anyone negative in your circle you need to get rid of? Get rid of them, even if it's family. Be careful who you listen to, who you follow, because you will mimic them. So if you're following someone who's saying, work 80 hours a day, you're going to feel like you're never enough. And some days I feel like working 4 hours a day, some days I work 16 hours a day. Go with the flow. And if you take a 25-year window and say, where will I be in 25 years, instead of saying, I got to hit $1 million by next year, or I've got this arbitrary number, say, how many lives can I impact? What do I want to look like? How do I want to feel? What kind of father do I want to be? What kind of mother do I want to be? How do I want to be looked at in the community? What will my book look like? Or if I have a book, do I want that? Try to go out 25 years, and it'll relieve a lot of pressure day by day. Because remember, it's a marathon of sprints. So you've got to have the ability to win the marathon, not just a sprint. And so if you think about it that way, you will start to treat your customers differently. You will treat your business differently. You will treat your vendors differently. You'll treat your team members differently. Because if I told you you had to do, Warren Buffett always says, if I told you had one car from 18 to 88, would you treat it the same way you're treating your car right now?
Yeah.
Well, what if I told you that was your body? And take that further to say, what if that was your business? What if this was the team that is going to take care of you when you're older? This team right now, your teammates next to you, when you're sick and in a wheelchair, they're the ones that are going to wheel you around. Will you talk to them the same way?
Yeah.
Will you treat them the same? What if those customers were the ones who were going to fund your retirement? Would you treat them the same way? What if you had to handshake every single one of your customers in person? Would you be scared of that? Would you be fearful? And what if you had to get in front of your entire family and your kids and tell them what you did for a living, how daddy made his money, or what he does? Would your kids be proud of you? If you start to think 25 years out and bring it to today, you'll start to act a lot differently in those micro moments.
Yeah.
And it's the compound effect of those micro moments that build a brand, that build a personal brand, the company brand, that build a community, that build a legacy. And you don't have to wait till you're 80 to start giving back and to start creating an impact, even if it's your time, money, or just the way that you carry yourself. That speaks volumes. And so if you think about that today, you can start that compounding effect like money, doubling, doubling, doubling. You start that today. But it starts in the micro moments of how you say hi to people. Who's making your coffee when you go to Starbucks, saying hi to them. The valet person, are you messaging your family, thanking them? Are you thanking your customers? Are you showing up to work? Are you putting in the work, or are you just saying you're putting in the work because it sounds good?
Yeah.
What are you actually doing? Because if you hold the mirror up to yourself day by day, you should feel good about yourself, and it's okay. You might not be where you want to be. You might mess up for a day. You might mess up for a week. Everybody messes up all the time. The mistakes will always be there. Okay, the challenges will always be there, but it's how you recover from those challenges and how you treat the people around you through those challenges.
Yeah.
And it's about, again, the tenacity, the grit over a long period of time. So don't think that people are going to forget what you did year one, because it sticks with you forever.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Great way to end it, man. That was absolutely awesome. Thank you for the time today.
Thank you.
Guys, Josh Snow Product. We're going to put all the details in the video. And until next time.